So this is a torus. This is a fourth dimensional object. Okay, I'm going to show you really quick how this is derived at. And I'm not using that one. Okay, so basically scientists, when they're trying to figure out dimensions, they do it like this. They have a single dimension, and then they double the dimension, and they connect it orthogonally, and you have a two-dimensional object. And then what they do is, to create a three-dimensional object, they create two-dimensional objects, and they connect them orthogonally. And that creates a three-dimensional object. And then to create a fourth-dimensional object, it gets more complicated. They build another cube, because you have to have two of them. And then, I'm doing the terrible job here, and they connect this orthogonally. It's called a hypercube. A Rubik's cube is a hypercube. It's got a cube in the center and then 26 cubes around it. Okay? Scientists deal with squares. Alchemists deal with circles because we worship the goddess. So, the circular version of the hypercube is this. Okay? It's a donut shape, and the vortex goes down and hardens and comes out the other side. So the energy comes down through the center and goes around and comes back around again, right? And it's infinite. Looks like an apple, doesn't it? Okay? So it comes down and around. This is the field that we have around our bodies. We have an electromagnetic field, and it's the spine. It comes out the top of your head, it comes down around, and comes back in at the bottom of the spine. This is the auric field, you know, all the things that the New Age is always talking about. Well, this is what this is. This is our body's hyperdimensional field. And the coherence of your health and how psychic you are and all the things are determined by this field. How coherent it moves when it spins through your body. Meditation, yoga, Zen, all these things are designed to create a coherent field around your body. When you're sick, it's out of coherence. It's wobbly. It's jumping around. The field is not intact around your body. Sometimes it can leave your body. If you take, like, what's that really horrible drug that people take? There's some horrible drug, ketamine. Ketamine can actually remove your own body from the body. It's an animal tranquilizer. I highly do not recommend it. And so the Earth has, as we saw, the Earth has it, and this is what this is. It's called a torus. It's a 4D physical object. Okay, next. Let's go to the next one, please. Okay, that's Jose Arguelles' hyperbody. And you notice he has a cube in the center of it, just like the Rubik's Cube, because he's trying to show you the combination of the hypercube with the hypertorus. And he's got the rainbow body in the center of it. Great, great drawing. Let's see the next one, please. And now, I will show you the secret of time. All right. So, all right. So this is a torus, right? The energy is coming down in a spiral. It hits a null point in the center, comes back down through, comes around, comes back down through, okay? This is around your body. This is around the Earth. The sun has it, although it's collapsed now. So the sun does not have this anymore, very interestingly, all right? So, in alchemy and in the Yuga system, we divide time into 4 phases. We'll just simplify it. It's the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age. And we're in the Iron Age right now. This is the hardest time to be alive, according to these alchemists and Hindus. And the Golden Age lasts a really long time, and it's wonderful, and everybody's happy. And then things begin to slip in the Silver Age. Then in the Bronze Age, they start getting nasty. And in the Iron Age, they really get nasty. Horrible. Keep that up, please. Thanks. So, how does this work? And what's going on in 2012? Well, you notice that these vortexes in the center, how they spin down towards the center, and then they spin out from the center? See how they do that? Okay. Back when I was a kid growing up in Nebraska, we had tornadoes all the time. And all a tornado is spinning air. It's just like this, okay? It's spinning. But as it spins and really spins, the tip of the tornado turns as hard as a diamond. And it can rip apart train cars and throw semis 500 yards and put shafts of wheat like bullets into trees, okay? And it's just air. just spinning. But it takes on a hardness as it spins faster and faster to where it's harder than any stone that you could find. Okay? And that's what's going on here. As we spin down towards the center of the torus, everything hardens. That's why we're in the center of our torus, because we're the hardened tip of this vortex. And when we die, it's just the tip leaves and enters back into it. So there really isn't even death. But so, and our lives go in the same pattern. I'll show you how that works in a second. So the golden age is when we come out through the bottom and start going down. It's when the energy is expanding. And expands, and it comes around the bottom lip, and it keeps expanding until it hits the equator at the center. See? It's expanding the whole way from the time it enters out until it hits the equator. Enter the Bronze Age is when it gets over to the top of the lip and starts going down. This is the fall, the famous fall that we all have to go through, I guess. And so we fall in the Bronze Age, and that happened 13,000 years ago. Each one of these ages is the same amount of years. So it takes 6,500 years to go from the tip to the equator, 6,500 years to go from the equator to falling down into the lip. Then the first 2/3 of falling is 6,500 years. And that little black triangle, the Iron Age, that's also 6,500 years. So it's relative. Time is relative. So when you're in the Iron Age, everything is speeding up. Each second is faster than the second before. Each minute is faster than a minute before. You think you don't have any time. You're in a panic state, and you don't know what to do. And one of the analogies that I use with this is the film Titanic. The film Titanic is, a lot of people don't like it, but it's an incredibly interesting film for a number of reasons. And one of the main reasons is that's the biggest hit of all time. So that immediately makes me want to look at it, because anything that everybody's going to has to have some kind of degree of importance. So I went to see it 10 years ago, by the way, it came out. And the Titanic is a story. The thing about the movie Titanic is that we all know the plot before we come in. We know the ship's going to go down. It's like there's no trepidation about it. We all know it's going to happen. We all walk into the theater. Everybody knows that the Titanic's going to sink. So why is anybody even coming to see the movie? So I sat down, and people would see this movie like 30 times. And this is a story of a civilization aboard a ship. And there's lower class and there's upper class, and the lower class can't go up to the upper class. It's not allowed. And it's an iron ship, and it's surrounded by wilderness. And one of the first lines in the movie is, "Not even God can sink the Titanic," right? And so there's incredible hubris involved in this idea that we can build a ship that nothing can sink. And so the captain, he turns all the engines on because he wants to get from Liverpool to New York faster than any ship in history. And the first mate says, "But Captain, there's like ice fields out there." And he says, who cares? So they turn on the engine. But we all know in the audience, we're like, oh no. And what this is a perfect analogy of the Iron Age. Oh, you lost my space there, guy. This is the perfect analogy of the Iron Age. Can we go back to that slide? Anyway, it's a perfect analogy of the Iron Age. Our reaction times are speeding up, and there's no time to react when we see the iceberg. So as we approach that null point, which I hope we get to soon, as we approach down through the bottom of the Iron Age, every second starts going so fast that pretty soon there's no time at all. That's 2012. It's the time of no time. We're actually going to go so fast, every second is going to unfold so quickly that we're actually going to run out of time. And we're going to have a disaster, I guarantee it, because you can't keep cutting your reaction times. There's too many possibilities, so eventually we're going to hit something. We're going to hit an iceberg. There's no doubt about it. It's just a matter of time. And you got to be prepared for when that happens, because it is coming. But what's great about this is that we pop through the other side. Okay? And then every minute is longer than the minute before. Every second is longer than the second before. And in the Vedas, they say that only in the Kali Yuga, only in the Iron Age, does prophecy really work.